So we have been looking at the main causes, MAIN, militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism of the First World War. And now what we need to do is look at the events that started the war itself. And it starts with an ultimatum. An ultimatum is, it's essentially a do this or else. So after the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, the Austrian Empire understandably was very, very angry. But they blamed Serbia, not Bosnia, for the killing. And they demanded that all the training for the quote-unquote freedom fighters had to stop. And if you did any studying of the war in Afghanistan, that basically repeated itself after 9/11. So Austria got Germany's support, and they sent this ultimatum to Serbia. And the ultimatum said, stop all training and stop all nationalism. And I'm not quite sure how they intended for that to happen, but, you know, it was a demand. Punish the assassins. That one makes perfect sense. I'm actually surprised they didn't say hand them over. And allow the Austrian army to come into Serbia to destroy the Black Hand. Obviously, they did not trust the Serbians to do that themselves. The Black Hand was the name of the group that actually committed the assassination. Now, this one and this one, the Serbians would be able to go along with. This one, we're going to talk about. So, Serbia accepted all but the last demand, and knowing that they had a treaty with Russia, said no. So, why would this be a problem? I mean, you think about this idea here. Austria and Serbia do not like each other. If you are in that situation, are you going to allow an enemy country to send their armed troops into your territory? Good luck getting them out if you ever do allow that. So yeah, no, Austria was very aware that this one was never going to get accepted. So essentially they gave an ultimatum that they knew was going to be refused. Serbia, however, they were being a little bit cagey as well, because it's like when you got a big brother who's going to come and protect you, you tend to become the bully on the playground. And because Serbia had that economic protection treaty with Russia, they felt that they could say no to Austria without any kind of repercussions. So what was so contentious about the last demand? And again, I've already explained that, so you should be able to answer that question. So Austria had already put troops on the border with Serbia. So when Serbia says no, Austria now declares war, and they send the troops in. Now, at this point, the Austrians felt that this was just between the two countries, Austria and Serbia. That's it. It was a regional dispute. Nobody else should have gotten involved. But Serbia called on Russia for help. They had that economic protection treaty, and now they invoked it. Russia was not really interested in going to war. They just had their nose bloodied fighting against the Japanese. They did not want to get involved in this, but they were worried that if they didn't go and help Serbia, Serbia wouldn't let them send their goods through the country and continue their international trade. So they were also embarrassed because they had poor leadership. Their Tsar thought he was the greatest military leader in the world. There had been, the war with Bulgaria, or in Bulgaria. Bulgaria had called on Russia for help. They had not been able to respond. And so they were very, very, very embarrassed by all of this. and they didn't feel that they could lose another ally in that Baltic area. So Russia declares war on Austria. So now we have 3 countries involved. But Austria's not on its own. They call on Germany to help. Now, Germany also did not really want to go to war, but they had just been involved in the Franco-Prussian War, and they were afraid that France was going to attack. And if France attacked, Germany wanted Austria to back them up. But if Germany didn't back up Austria right now, why would Austria back them up? You see where this mutual defense treaty thing comes in? So here's where it gets tricky. And this is the part that makes Germany responsible, legally responsible for the war. Now, Germany knew that Russia had a treaty with France. So they declared war on both Russia and France at the same time. But that put them in the wrong. They should have waited. What should have happened is Germany declares war on Russia. Russia gets France involved. France declares war on Germany. Now Germany can declare war on France. But they jumped a couple of steps, and as a result, they get held legally responsible for the war. Now, Germany did not want to fight a war on 2 fronts, so they decided to fight France very, very quickly. And that's where the Schlieffen Plan comes in. Okay, we talked about this one before. So the Schlieffen Plan was, instead of coming through this border here between Germany and France, which had all these massive fortifications, instead go through the soft underbelly, which is Belgium, and they should be able to hit Paris in 2 weeks. Now, Great Britain had a mutual defense treaty with France, so when France got attacked, automatically that treaty was triggered. But they also had a neutrality protection treaty with Belgium, so when Belgium was invaded, that was triggered as well. So now both treaties are activated. Britain is involved. Britain declares war on Germany, and because we are part of the empire, Canada is now automatically at war, as are all other parts of the empire. So it's really important for you guys to understand that Canada did not declare war. We were in the war, but we did not declare, because even though we were an independent country, we were a dominion. And that's not quite the same thing as being a sovereign nation. And so, like it or not, we didn't have a choice. Canada was at war. But I don't want you to think that Canada thought that was a bad thing. With the exception of Quebec, where the war was not well received at all, across the rest of Canada, people were cheering. Across the British Empire, people were cheering. Heck, in Germany, in Austria, in France, people were cheering. People were happy. They were going to war. And a lot of it has to do with that build-up of tension, that 40 years of, it's going to be war, no it isn't, it's going to be war, no it isn't, and nobody knowing where they were. Finally, there was going to be something that they could do about it, and they were all happy that they were going to war. All the treaties are now enacted, and suddenly what started out as an assassination, what started out as a regional dispute, was suddenly a world war. So, this is a piece that I'd like you to do a bit of thinking about. So what would have had to have happened within Europe for this war to have been averted. So I'm not talking about, oh, well, if they hadn't have done this type of thing, but instead, what interventions would have had to have been made? What accommodations, what negotiations would have had to have happened for the war to have not happened? Because obviously they'd come close 3 times prior to this, and they diverted it. So something was different this time. What do you think? What needed to change? What I'd like you to do is, I don't want this as an essay, but write your thoughts out and send me your thoughts on the EDSB, and I would really, really be interested to hear what you guys think would have prevented this war from happening. So that's it for the MAIN causes, the main causes. Tomorrow we're going to start looking at what happened when Canada got involved. So until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. See you later.